Hey guys, Peter here, and today I have the November That Wrestling Club box. The theme this month is Extreme, and I think it's supposed to have 2 autographs and then their brand new WrestleTunes line, and I think a Shane Douglas exclusive shirt. This box costs, I believe, $35. I've done this so much that the fact that I don't remember is so bad. But I think it's $35, and if you're interested, I'll put a link down below. I would recommend signing up for the December box, because I guess they're getting another bonus item if you're getting the heavyweight box, which is the box that includes the shirt. And on top of that, the value usually for this box is pretty high. Nonetheless, let's get into this unboxing and see what we got this time. Once you open up the box, this is what you would see. Alright. Let's do the WrestleTunes figure first, because I'm just really curious how these turned out. Okay, so this is what the WrestleTunes figures look like. There's the box. I will say I'm very happy that they decided to give these proper packaging rather than doing something in line of what Pro Wrestling Crate does, where they just kind of have like a little cellophane bag. Let's open this up really quick and look at it though. This is a pretty weighty figure, in all honesty. It's like a heavyweight vinyl. This, for some reason, reminds me of the, what are they called? Doki Doki? I think that's what they're called. Doki Dokis. Or just, for whatever reason, they, just have like that big open mouth. I don't hate this. I think the hardest thing with these, and with any company creating their own figure line, is that you are putting a lot in yourself in saying that you have enough of an ability to be a collectible item to have a figure that is dedicated to your box. So I do typically prefer to get other, like, licensed figures from collectible companies like Funko or well, mainly Funko, or the Mattel ones with the Elites and Basics. But I actually don't mind this. This isn't as bad as it could have been. As I don't mean that in a bad way, but this definitely could have looked worse. And the weight to it's really nice, and the fact that it has the packaging to it is awesome in my opinion. But yeah, I think it's a decent inclusion. Again, I'm hoping these don't replace the main figures they do, but these aren't a bad inclusion by any means. I'd probably say for these, if you were to get these at like an indie event or anything like that, I would imagine they'd probably sell them for like $8 to $10, probably. But yeah, not bad at all. Solid start. Let's do the Shane Douglas shirt. Alright. This is on a gray heavy cotton Gildan shirt. You know what? Even though I'm not a big Shane Douglas fan, by any means, that's not a bad design. It looks like the, just in general, like old school looking fighter shirt. But yeah, that is not as bad as it could have been. I actually really like this design. Again, not a huge Shane Douglas fan, but this is a pretty solid shirt. I would say for the shirt, because it is exclusive, at least I think it is, you could probably give this roughly 10 to 12 bucks. You might be able to give it more, like 20 bucks, since that's the average price of a shirt, but for me personally, I'm going to give it 12. Next we have the pin. Oh, that's actually really cool. Okay, so this is from ECW One Night Stand. This is the, I think this was a banner at the time and not a sign. I'm not sure. Maybe it was a sign. But it is the classic, "If Cena wins, we riot." I thought this was a banner, but it looks like there was a sign with the backing card. So, not the most obvious choice that you would make for a pin. And it's very basic, but it is neat that is, it's very, like, inside baseball reference-wise. It's not obvious, like, getting, like, the, I guess what kind of is the WrestleTunes style pins of, like, AJ and Taker. Like, you kind of have to know the reference to this to really get it. That said, it is double backed, which is awesome because I've wanted double backing from these pins for so long. And the enamel on the pins is really well done as well. So as a whole, because of the size, double backing, and everything, you'd probably give this about $7 to $8, I'd say. Next we have, oh, that is the spoiler card. What is this? Oh, sick. Okay. Next we have an ECW One Night Stand script. This is from, I think, the first one? Maybe? Let's see. Who is in... Yeah, this is the first... Or no, is this the first one, or is this the second one? This is the second one. This is the second One Night Stand because you have Masato Tanaka's on it, but he's not fighting Mike Awesome. He is fighting Balls Mahoney. Let's see something really quick. Yeah, again, this is very inside wrestling interest-wise. On this, you have like a full call and run sheet for the match, and what the notes were going to be for both the announcers as well as what is to be like the high points that like Joey Styles would be mentioning, as well as like how long the match is supposed to run and the order, and if there's going to be like pyro and stuff for everyone. Like even something like this, like Steven DeAngelis announces Kurt Angle as the man who now calls ECW his home, the former Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle. So even stuff like that. Again, this is very like inside wrestling of like, you kind of have to be a wrestling nerd to like something like this. But I figure if you're getting a wrestling subscription box, you're probably around that level. But yeah, it's a really cool inclusion. Nothing like incredibly special, but it is really unique. Something that you probably wouldn't have a physical copy of in most cases, unless you wanted to print them off and have a collection of them. This, I mean, there's not a lot of value to it because it's just printer paper. I mean, unless like this is a hard to find script or something like that. That said, you probably give it like $2 or $3. It's more, again, just kind of a really cool and nerdy thing to be interested in, and something that most fans don't really get a glimpse into. So, neat inclusion. Let's see. I think next we have an auto. Okay. Oh, we got two. And we have two cards in here too. Okay, well, let's go for the cards first. This one we got in a previous box. I don't remember which one it was, but it's Paul Heyman as Rob Van Dam. I remember getting this, though, before. So I'm guessing this threw it in. And this is another one with the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys mixed together. Again, not like crazy about these cards personally. I don't know, they just don't really, mashups don't really do it for me personally, but you probably give like 50 cents a piece. They're a decent quality of card stock. I guess you could give 50 cents to this one even though we got it before since they included it. But yeah, the final two items we have are both autographs. So the first autograph we have is of the Sandman. Right there. I don't imagine Sandman goes for a ton now. I'd probably say at an event it would range from like $10 to $15, roughly. And then the other one we have is Sabu, which is awesome. Again, likewise, I don't think Sabu goes for a ton autograph-wise range. I would probably say for Sabu, probably again about $10 to $15. Alright, so I think that is all. So let's do some review and final pricing. On the back of the card, one of the nice things they do is they have pictures of stuff coming up, as well as the people that have signed, pictures of them doing the autograph session as well. Which is cool, just because it kind of reassures you that these are legit autographs if you have any doubt. The first item they list on this card is the Shane Douglas t-shirt, which they're again saying is an exclusive. Again, not a huge Shane Douglas fan, but I actually really like the shirt design. And the fact that it's on a gray instead of a black shirt is awesome as well. For this, I'm probably going to say, again, about $12 for my personal pricing. But you could give this, you know, $20, $25, depending on how much you value shirts at. The next item they list for the Cruiserweight box is the Sandman autograph. Again, I don't know exactly how much Sandman charges at conventions, but I'm guessing at conventions and wrestling shows, it's probably in the $10 to $15 range. You know, the fact that he's not really wrestling that much anymore, and the fact that he wasn't like a huge world-renowned wrestler, and one that was like really hard to come by, probably makes me think that it's not extremely pricey, but still a cool inclusion for an ECW theme box. Again, for that, probably about 10 to 15 bucks. The next one is the Sabu autograph. Likewise, I think you could probably give this about 10 to 15 dollars. Again, I don't think Sabu's autograph goes for a ton either at shows. So I feel okay with giving that 10 to 15. For both, I'll give them, let's cut it down the middle and say for both we'll do 25. Do $12.50 a piece for each autograph. The next thing we have is the Russell Toon figure of Al Snow. Again, it really depends on the wrestler in question who was doing these, as to how much they would price these at. I would imagine that at a show, they'd probably sell these for like 8 to 10 bucks roughly. So about the cost of a pop figure, I would say. Again, that said, they're not something that I would personally probably collect on my own if I saw this in a shop. But this isn't as bad as it could have been, I guess, is what I'm saying. Again, not terribly crazy for it, but also the quality of this is pretty good, and the you know, the weight to it and the fact that they did think about putting it in something like a box with a window and everything is really nice. So, yeah, I mean, as a whole, I think it's a pretty good inclusion, and again, I think these aren't, I would rather see other figures personally, but these aren't a bad thing to have in this box by any means. So, again, about 8 to 10 bucks. Next is the ECW One Night Stand script. Again, this is a very nerdy thing to have. I don't know if this is like a hard thing to come by online if you want to look for it. But it is a really cool thing to have if you're a really big wrestling nerd. So I would probably say for this, again, about 2 to 3 bucks just because of the paper, and then depending on how hard it is to come by, you might be able to give it $5 maximum. I just personally don't know exactly where you would value that, depending on how hard this is to find online. You know, if it isn't, then it just costs you the cost of the printer paper. If it is, then it's one of those things that's really cool to have. But again, not like a huge amount of value to it. But still, it's a cool, like, nerdy inclusion to have. Next, they're listing the Hardy Boys trading cards, so I'm guessing they're just throwing the Paul Heyman one in there just because they had left over. Again, I'm just going to give that 50 cents. Not terribly crazy about these, but yeah, I'd probably just say about like 50 cents for that. Then we have the If Cena Wins We Riot pin. Again, I'd probably say about 7 to 8 bucks for that, because again of the double backing. So in total, I'm getting about $56.50 for the value of the box. That is with me giving the shirt $12, the autographs $12.50 a piece, the script like $3, and the figure like about 8 bucks, roughly. So it's not a bad box. I don't know. I guess I was hoping for maybe an item with Rob Van Dam. To me, I think Rob Van Dam was the biggest star that came out of ECW, both in terms of making it to WWE and being huge in WWE, and also in terms of him being, you know, like internationally known, the best out of everyone, I'd say. So, you know, not having a Rob Van Dam item is kind of a big bummer. Other than that, I guess I would say my favorite item is probably the shirt this time. The autographs are cool, because, I mean, again, you do have ECW originals, but other than that, I just wasn't really crazy. I think, obviously, the figure, since it is their own figure, probably took up a lot of the value, because they had to produce these as a whole, which I can't imagine is cheap. But yeah, I don't know. It's a very middle of the road box for me. It's not bad by any means, because you are getting about I think this box is 41. So I think you're getting about $14, $15 worth of value, and that's with me low pricing some of the items. Again, you could probably give a couple more dollars to the shirt and the autographs and maybe the figure, depending on where you want to have those at. But I don't know, it just feels like something is missing in a way, or it feels like a couple notable people are missing. I don't know why. Just probably, I'd probably say this probably just isn't my favorite box I've received from them. And it's just weird because, again, there's nothing really wrong with the box. It's just a personal opinion of just things kind of, something feeling off. And I don't know what it is. So I'd probably give this box like a 3.5. Again, it's not terrible. The value is decent, but there's just something about it that I'm just like, yeah, I'm not wowed this month. But hopefully next month that changes a little bit. I don't think the Wrestle Tunes are a bad idea. I think it's a neat thing to have your own figure line, especially exclusive to your own box. That's awesome. But again, I prefer seeing an Elite or seeing a Funko Pop in there rather than seeing something like this, just because it is very hard to sell that something that you created is a collectible thing when you can only get it in this box, and when people don't really have a choice if they're going to get it or not. Whereas if you see like a Funko Pop or an Elite, those are going to sell in a retail store and people are going to collect those off the bat. So yeah, I'm going to say a 3.5 for me personally with this box. If you're interested, which again I do recommend getting them, because even so, like, the value is still pretty good with this. And again, like I said, there's nothing really for me that's wrong about this box. It's just, for whatever reason, it just doesn't feel, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like as big of a deal as previous boxes have. But nonetheless, I do recommend signing up. Again, I'll put all their information down below. But yeah, nonetheless, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time with a brand new unboxing.